Hi, my name is Giselle Artman and I'm excited to introduce Natalie Lasky's research on leadership arbitration and social media dissatisfaction. This work dives into how leadership decisions are challenged and resolved, particularly in the digital age and the growing dissatisfaction with social media. Let's go ahead and dive into the interview.
Hello, my name is Natalie Lasky. I am a graduate student here at YSU. I have an associate's degree in specialized technology, a bachelor's in interpersonal organizational communication with a minor in journalism, and currently working towards my master's in professional communication. My studies are in leadership communication. I have one research study that is being presented at the 116th Eastern Communication Association Convention. And then I also have 3 different studies that came from that study that I'm presenting, and the one's on executive order approval ratings, as well as the other one is navigating sanity and social media and psychological safety, while the third study is my thesis, and that's dark empathy and psychological manipulation in professional environments. This study is really relevant because it has a lot to do with how leaders communicate with individuals, and how, with this day and age, everything being online, we are focusing, the research is on how leaders are reaching out to their constituents and how they are implementing face-saving tactics, and what theories apply to the type of communication that the leaders are doing while engaging in face-saving tactics, whether it's positive face, negative face, or whether you're looking at social penetration theory, whether you're looking at uncertainty reduction theory, or agenda setting theories. These various theories all apply to how leaderships navigate their communication tactics and strategies that they implement in whenever they're online, and whether it's through advertisements or whether it's a direct message to their constituents. It also looking at how they how they talk to their constituents. You can see that their perspectives differ depending on their beliefs and their values and what type of message they're trying to push, whether it's something negative or positive, or how they're trying to approach each message can differ depending on what their end game is for that message. Challenges that I faced during this study was one, staying on task with how fast everything was moving with the election, and keeping up with what people were posting and how they were responding and reacting to the various things that each of the leaders would do, because sometimes leaders would be posting on one social media while another one would be responding on another one, and trying to follow everything that was happening during the election got to be overwhelming at times. And even though I did cover a lot of ground with the various social media platforms, there's still a lot that is left to be discovered, or depending on where the echo chambers are also dictates how what information you're able to see, because some information, even though the election has already been completed, there's still a lot of things that I'm just now finding because they weren't in the algorithms beforehand. In 1896, Theodore Roosevelt started the press room at the White House. Prior to that, it was always local source media, very partisan to whatever type of, whether it was conservative or liberal, to those local areas of what your media outlets were. But after the press room it was created, it allowed presidents and leaders to be able to talk to their constituents directly by via third party. Now, social media, this election especially, President Trump really capitalized on this, but both presidential candidates and other leaders also capitalize on social media being able to talk to their constituents directly, bringing it back into a heavy partisan, really playing towards the people that they want to speak to directly, rather than the constituents getting the information from a third party, like through the news media outlets, that the traditional media, or like newspapers or news channels. Now with social media, they're able to send direct message to the voters and able to push whatever message they want. So it's in some ways even more partisan than what it was prior to the press room. So I'm currently looking at the psychological aspects and looking at the empathy specifically, and looking at how dark empathy, which is whenever, say, from the dark triad, the Machiavellism, the sociopathy, and the Machiavellism, the narcissism, and the psychopathy they understand empathy and they can acknowledge empathy, but they don't respond to empathy the same way that someone that doesn't experience these personality traits would. I'm looking into how they are applied to leadership situations, because most leaders have, to some ratio or to some extent, those three personality traits that dictate how they lead, and depending on what the ratio is will depend on how they respond to a situation. But we lean to leaders to get advice, and we want our leaders to look at us in a positive manner, but sometimes they have to do stuff that they have to make decisions that are not very popular, and they have to know how it affects people's situations, and being able to acknowledge both good and bad situations can play a toll on a person. And those are the areas that I'm looking at within the personalities of leaders, to be able to understand what makes them tick, why they felt that way. Did they acknowledge the empathy? Was it more of a manipulation tactic to get their way in whatever decision it was? Whether it's something positive or negative, that's not the main focus as to understanding why they made that positive decision or that negative decision, regardless of what the decision is. Leadership communication is different than your everyday communication. It's not friendly so much as it's more professional. Now, it can be friendly, but for the most part, leaders are very task-oriented, and when they say something, they have direct purpose for what they're saying or what they're engaging in, or whether it's body language or how they respond, or just whether they are empathetic towards it. We want leaders to be empathetic, but we also have to understand the personality traits that go into making a leader a leader. And most people that are in leadership positions didn't get there by being the nice guy all the time. As much as we want them to be the nice guy or nice girl, whoever, they have to make hard decisions. They have to make hard choices, and that how they handle these situations falls back on their personalities. And that's where my focus of my research is what makes them tick the way they tick.